Hey guys, welcome back. This is Coach Parker with CoachParker.org. How are you guys doing today? Today we're going to go over how to play our defensive guards in the 6-2 multi-8 youth football defense. So let's jump right in. So a couple of key issues on the knob and gunner are there are A-gappers in the 6-2 multi-defenses. So they're the defensive guards that are basically in the A gap between the center and the offensive guards. And they can play head up on the guards, inside shoulder the guards, and then gap if they want. But we usually have them inside shoulder of the offensive guards there. They're responsible for anything that's coming up midline defense, fullback blast, quarterback sneaks, counter gut plays that are coming back through the middle. They've really got that A-B area there, and they need to fight for that. Their goal really is to tie up the center and the two offensive guards with just two defenders and try to keep those guys off the linebackers and free safety if they can. So that's pretty critical for them to try to do. The knob just is the nose guard, and he is always the bigger of the two and is always in the middle of the defense. Our gunner comes out a lot of times, kind of like inside linebacker, D-back, like a monster every now and then. And so the knob, though, is your big traditional nose guard, and especially when we go into the 5-2, 5-3 defense variations, he's the one that stays there, and the gunner is definitely pulling back. These two may be asked to bull rider, two gap, peekaboo hunt their guards, especially if the gunner pulls out, the knob will be asked to do that on the center. They also might be asked to do a Zulu Butaki submarine to bring down wedges, and that's basically where they turn, kind of crab crawl block with their head pointing to the center, and then they're going to roll with their hands and legs, trying to get those between the offensive players and rolling up in a crab block back down to a butt roll, then back up kind of thing. And that's kind of what Zulu is in a nutshell. We ask them not to get driven backwards. A lot of times they may get beat on double teams or whatever, but if they do get beat, on their third or fourth step backwards, they're to try to grab an offensive lineman and bring down a pile with them in that A gap area. And so those are some key issues that we like to have those two play in that A gap area there. So in the 6-2 wide tackle, the nose guards or the defensive guards, they're lined up, and you can see they're lined up here on the inside shade of those two offensive guards. You've got your knob. I usually put him on the wide side here. This is the wide, the short. The gunner's on the short side. We're asking them really to kind of control this box right there. And their target is really the back of the heels of the quarterback and where they're trying to go. We're trying to get them to penetrate the line of scrimmage, but also disrupt those three offensive players there so they can't break down on our linebackers. And we expect them to make tackles in that area. We expect them to fill up the gaps there, to clog it, to penetrate, and they're responsible for any quarterback sneak or fullback dives right in. You can see that box area there. And we do expect them to make tackles. Now, a lot of coaches, and we do the same, will hide some minimum play players or some weaker players in the gunner position for a while and move them in and out of there. We also do that, and we will not back the gunner out a lot of times if we're doing that. So and you can possibly get away with two of players there if you don't think that they're going to wedge or quarterback sneak on you a lot. So if you're trying to maybe hide a weaker player here every now and then, you can do that to get them some plays. But I like to always keep a big nose guard in there to cause havoc. So they're your two D guards, nose guards, whatever you want to call them. The Dan and the knob and the gunner for N. gunner for G for nose guard. And that's in the 6'2" wide tackle there. Now they can stack. I actually like to stack the two guys quite a bit in the middle. It causes a lot of confusion for these offensive linemen. So every now and then to change it up a little bit, if you've got a smaller gunner, it kind of helps him too. Is you can stack these two guys, and I call it golf tee. And of course, in a 33 stack, they're stacked up already. But you know, the gunner's going to tap. So the nose will go to the tap and the gunner will go opposite. Actually, he goes to the A gap. And so that's how that works there on the golf tee stack or the stack. And you can call golf tee really in any of the 6'2" variations anytime you think kind of you want to give those guys a little break and do something different. And that break and confusion helps them actually attack these A gaps a little bit. So I try to do that every now and then. And sometimes I trust them enough to do it, so it's just up to you how much you want to do that golf tee stack in the middle there. Make sure that they know not to blitz the same gap, because sometimes they get a brain fart and they start blitzing the same gap, and we really don't want that to happen. They're still responsible for their box if they're stacked up, so let them know that. So here's where the gunner kind of becomes a monster back. We've got a Lucy call. Anytime I yell Lucy to somebody, that asks them to step back. So whenever the gunner steps back, your nose is going to go into a traditional zero technique, head up nose guard, and play this two gap peekaboo hunt for the football. So he's just going to try to stall out this area here and flow to the ball. And so that's when we've got anytime gunner comes out. And when that happens too, if we've got tackles out here, we really want the tackles to head up on the O tackles too and play that same technique. So basically we're going from a 6 front to a 5 front, even to odd. And when that happens, we're really looking for our main 3 core. And these 3 guys here and here would be our main 3 core defensive players, or down linemen, and they're gonna all 2 gap on that point. But let's get back to, so the gunner comes out in his Lucy call here. He's gonna flip back out. Say if he was stacked up, he's gonna come back out into a linebacker, and he's reading the quarterback and the fullback when he's in this mid-level area here. Now they've still got this square of AB gap, right? Both the nose and the gunner here. And the same thing goes on, you know, when we've got a 53 defense or a 5-2 dragon. Basically, you know, it's sort of like a Lucy call, but the gunner is coming back out, and then, you know, Rover came back here in that 5-2. You know, you've still got the knob going to go here on zero tech, traditional nose guard. The gunner's coming back now to play a linebacker. Mike's over here playing the other linebacker. And so when that happens, you've got the 2 tackles and the nose. They're always playing. They're now playing that 2 gap technique there, and that's where gunner would step back into this linebacker position. And you know, if it's the 53 defense, the gunner will be here, and the Rover will be here. It's the 52. The Rover becomes a monster. He moves, and gunner go back over there. So that's that in the 53 dragon defense of the 52 dragon of the 52 monster. And also, anytime you can do this, anytime really, when in the 6-2 multis, you can ask the gunner to come out. I could ask him to come over to a hole. And right now I've got him to X jam, basically Y jam. And so gunner's going to come out of this middle, and he's going to come over to this Y receiver, and he's going to become a jammer. And I like to do that quite a bit, is use these gunners as jammers, especially if you got a weaker player and you know it's not going to have a run. You can have your gunner come over and try to jam or help you underneath coverage with one of these receivers, and that really works out pretty good to do that too. So you know when the gunner comes out, the nose then goes into a head up 2 gap technique, right? Okay. So that's that again. And that's really, how to play the knob and the gunner. Most of the time in a 6-2, they've got this A-gap, fullback, quarterback sneak thing. And then anytime your gunner comes out, the nose goes to a zero technique, and the gunner is going to play either a linebacker or a D-back. And that's really it. If you want to keep it simplified, you can keep them in that 6-2. Run some weaker players through there if you're trying to get plays for some of the weaker guys. But I always like to keep my nose knob as a big one. But yeah, so that's how you play the defensive guards, both knob and gunner, in my 6-2 multi-8 youth football defense. I hope you liked this video. If you didn't like it or you got some comments or questions, please leave those in the comment section below. If you'd like to share this video with another coach or friend, please do so. If you like this video and the other videos within the 6-2 multi-8 defense or offense or drills, please subscribe. That really helps the channel out. If you want to go even further to help the channel out and help me keep making free video content for the youth football coaches community, you can donate. There's a donate button up there. You can shop my store. There's a link below. I get a percentage of sales there. And I've also got 2 books out right now. I've got this 6-2 multi-8 youth football defense, which is in the final beta draft form and should be finished hopefully by next week if I can get all these edits in. And I've got a really basic playbook that I've been using for the last 10 seasons. It's about 160 PowerPoint charts. It is in draft form, but it's really good. I can tell you I've used it and it's been very successful. And it's got a lot of the meat there. It's like $11 over at coachparker.org right there. It is in draft form, but I tell you it's a really good playbook compared to others that are out there. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, and I hope you enjoyed all the videos I've been making. If you do, please like it or subscribe. And remember, this is Coach Parker with coachparker.org, and to play for fun, and winning is funner. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot. Ciao.